Officer Sebastian was driven about on his regular route by a young woman who usually waved and smiled at him from the upper window of her home. However, she stopped one day, which worried the policeman. He could never have predicted what he found when he went to investigate the house. It was something far bigger and more significant. Welcome to USA Stories channel. Do not forget to subscribe and activate the bell button to receive all new updates. Now let's go to the story. Having served in the police department for more than 20 years, Officer Sebastian was a well-regarded and diligent law enforcement professional. He'd patrolled a tiny suburban town, and in that time, he'd grown to know everyone there. They would wave, smile, and greet him anytime he passed. Throughout his many years there, he had witnessed more than his share of action. He had earned the title of hometown hero. He was admired by other cops, felt comfortable and respected by adults, and was looked up to by children. Sebastian was tasked with the crucial duty of acclimating new hires to their new surroundings and teaching them the ropes. Officer Sebastian had a lengthy and convoluted drive through the quiet streets on his route. He relished the tranquility, even if not much happened while he was on duty. He would frequently take trainees along for the voyage while responding to their inquiries, giving them practice exams and bringing them up to speed on the material. However, while traveling down this path, Sebastian began to see a woman waving to him from a bedroom window upstairs. She wasn't very old, perhaps 18 or 19, but every day when he went by, she would wave and grin. Even though Sebastian was positive he had never seen her before, he waved and grinned in return. Maybe she had just moved into town, so he figured it would be best to show her that the local cops weren't so awful. Sebastian made it a habit to discreetly welcome the woman in the window and wave back every time he passed by for a few weeks. However, Officer Sebastian discovered the woman was missing one day. He scowled, but didn't give it any thought. It may have been that she was out of town or anything, but as the days passed, he started to get a little nervous about the circumstances. He had a gut feeling that things wasn't quite right. In his area of business, Sebastian now knew that if his instincts told him something wasn't right, it most likely was. He made the decision to look into it a little bit. Sebastian discovered that the house had been purchased by an old man around 50 years prior through a fast and easy database search. There had been no mention of a daughter, but he had passed away 25 years prior, leaving it to his son. Officer Sebastian scowled, feeling that something significant was going on here once more. He had to do something. He had to find out where the woman was and why he was feeling so unhappy about the whole thing. Officer Sebastian pulled up to the residence and cautiously made his way to the door. He glanced up at the window once more to make sure the woman was still gone, and then he rapped hard on the door. It took barely 2 or 3 seconds to gently open and expose a man in a suit. Tall and rugged-looking, he exuded suspicion. Sebastian was unable to even take a cursory glance inside the door since he had closed the side opening. Nevertheless, he said hello and inquired about the man's ability to enter. The burly man merely slammed the door in Sebastian's face after saying no in a loud, deep voice. The officer's interest was really piqued now. This was not right at all. Something was wrong. Sebastian went back to his office and began to look around a bit more. In the end, he was able to locate photos of both the guy who had initially purchased the home and his son, who had inherited it. Sebastian had a sneaking suspicion that none of them resembled the large, intimidating man who had answered the door just a few hours before. Here, though, was where the cop encountered a real conundrum, a crisis of conscience, if you will. Sebastian's raid on the residence was not justified by law. There were no indications of any illicit activity, and the man who had opened the door had done nothing wrong. There was no need at all for him to break into the house and find out where the woman who was waving gone. Sebastian's intuition, however, continued to warn him that there was much more to this tale than first appeared. He ultimately decided to raid the residence the following day while on patrol. Gathering around the house's corner, he radioed in for a few of his close police friends. They wanted to avoid casting suspicion on anyone. He informed his pals about his concerns and about the man in the suit and the waving woman. Thankfully, they all decided to help, even though they knew it would put their careers at jeopardy. Even Sebastian's fellow rookie police officer promised to keep a watch and monitor events outside the residence. They hastened around the corner and stormed inside the home after formulating a strategy. The man in the suit was still there, and a number of cops surrounded him to put handcuffs on him right away. Sebastian ran up the stairs and into the room with the view of the street. That's where the woman would be if she was going anyplace. However, he stopped dead in his stride and his eyes widened as he pulled open the hefty door. It was a completely vacant room. There was no closet, no chest of drawers, and no bed. To be exact, neither a light shade nor a carpet covered the bulb hanging from the ceiling. It was vacant, entirely empty. Sebastian abruptly realized that the rest of the home was in the same state as he turned around and headed downstairs. He had never noticed. He'd been in such a haste to get upstairs and inside. But Sebastian became even more perplexed as he descended the stairs. His police partner mates were taking the man's handcuffs off and expressing deep regret. The man in the suit stroked his wrist and, despite his tough exterior, appeared at ease. Reaching into his jacket pocket, he turned to face Sebastian. Sebastian stiffened, but what the man revealed both addressed and raised a great deal of unanswered issues. The man in the suit pulled out an FBI badge. He worked for the FBI officer Sebastian. Raiding the residence without a warrant or reason seems to have upset the agent a little. He had no legal authority to do so, and if Sebastian was reported, it would be fair to say that the action lost him his job. Fortunately, the FBI agent realized Sebastian and the crew were only trying to find someone they believed could be in danger. He honored Sebastian's choice to follow his instincts and risk his career to save someone he believed was in danger. He made the decision to inform Sebastian of the situation and the location of the waving woman. As a result, after removing the other cops from the room, the agent approached Sebastian, who was still a bit bewildered. The agent gave a detailed explanation of the matter, saying that they were there to safeguard her father, the son who had inherited the home. It was his daughter who waved. The man was a critical witness in a massive, significant investigation, and the FBI had agreed to place him and his daughter under witness protection because of the valuable information he had supplied. There were rumors that a few of the man's former friends had been spotted nearby, which may put him in danger. They had to be relocated to another safe residence outside the nation for their own security in light of this alarming information and the fact that the woman had been observed waving out the window many times. Officer Sebastian waved back, feeling a bit bad about himself because he had unintentionally encouraged this conduct. However, the agent gave him the reassurance that he should not worry. All he was attempting to do was be a neighborhood officer, a pleasant one. Sebastian readily agreed to remain silent about the events of the evening, knowing full well that nothing would be revealed about them. That evening, Sebastian returned home a little shell-shocked. He was relieved that she and her father were in good hands somewhere far, far away. Even if he had not anticipated the day's events to play out that way, he would probably never see the waving woman again. What a shocking tale! If you could have been Officer Sebastian, how would you have responded? Would you have kept away, or would you have looked into it and maybe jeopardized your career? Please feel free to share your ideas and opinions in the space provided for comments below, as we always appreciate hearing from you. Please remember to subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our videos. If you enjoyed the tale, the next video that plays on your screen will probably move you too.